everybody, and welcome back to Mindful Mondays with Laura Cross. I am your host, and if you know anything about me or this show, you know I am all about providing natural, holistic practices, resources, or connections. So I am super excited when I met this gentleman today, our guest, Tom Paladino. He is a scalar energy researcher. And what he does with scalar light and the new era of quantum healing, I think, was just something that we definitely needed to share with everybody. So without further ado, because I know we have a lot to cover, he's got a lot of fantastic things. I want to introduce everybody to Tom Paladino from Scalar Light. And Tom, maybe you can start by telling us where scalar energy originates from and kind of describe its nature.
Okay. Laura, thank you for the invitation. Hi, everybody. I'm going to conduct this interview in my laboratory. Behind me are scalar energy instruments. So for the sake of this conversation, it's very simple. Scalar energy is the energy of the sun, of the stars. It's the primary animating force of the universe, scalar energy. It's life force energy. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, it carries intelligence. It carries the instructions of the universe. Energy, light, is a first principle. It's a first cause. And why is this important? Because if we can control energy, then you can control the outcome. Energy, light, is the cause, and what we have in effect is an instrument that can control that cause. That's so important for us to understand that this is a new science in which we can control nature to some extent.
That is fascinating. So what exactly is the difference between scalar energy and electromagnetic energy? Because I think some people may be more familiar with electromagnetic. What's the difference?
Of course. Well, today academia is teaching electromagnetic theory, which is fine, but they should really teach the primary energy, which is not electromagnetic, but scalar energy. So it's very clear to me that all energy originates from the sun and the stars, and that energy is electromagnetic only after it leaves the sun and the stars. What am I getting at? Inside the sun and the stars, you have scalar energy. And once that energy leaves the center of the sun and the stars, then you have a degradation, then you have a conversion to electricity and magnetism. So why not work with the primary energy of the universe, sunlight and starlight? It's so important to realize that that energy will never experience any die-off. That energy is unlimited. So what I'm trying to do with these instruments is create a miniature star, which is the primary energy of the universe, scalar energy. Why work with the inferior derivative, which is electricity? It doesn't make any sense to me.
No, especially when you have such a massive force that's natural. Now, I know you and I have talked a little bit about it, but apparently there's a way that scalar energy transmutes matter. How does that work?
Yeah. Well, so let me explain. Again, if scalar energy is this natural life force energy, it's going to be able to create every element on the periodic table, and that's what it does. So there's intelligence behind everything from hydrogen to sulfur to any metal to any molecule for that matter. So scalar intelligence will create an element, will create a molecule, etc. These instruments, I've proven that I can assemble molecules with this instrument. I do that by way of intelligence. So in review, scalar energy is the intelligence of the universe. We can create a molecule. We can create an atom. You see, there's energy, there's intelligence behind everything, including the elements on our periodic table, and even the isotopic forms. So with that in mind, when you control scalar energy, you can control atomic and molecular forms.
Wow. So how does the scalar energy or the scalar light turn on the ability to form our own nutrients?
Okay, so let me demonstrate. Before we get into this, I want to make this very clear that all of my work is through photographs. This is my photograph. I don't work with people, I work with force fields. Now, this is the new science in which energy, especially of somebody's photograph, has a source or a signature of energy. If I place my photograph inside this instrument, then my photograph experiences the force field or the energy of scalar energy. Now, with that in mind, We can instruct this energy. For instance, I'm going to hold up another photograph, which is a magnified photograph of riboflavin. When I place these two photographs together, there's a sharing of information. Now, keep in mind, I don't work with people, I work with force fields that are found on photographs. This is quantum energy, this is quantum healing. We don't work with the physical body, we work with the non-physical. If I take this nutrient that's been magnified, riboflavin, and I share it with my photograph, there's an instantaneous sharing of information. When you're working in the quantum field, you don't work with chemicals, you work with the energy of a photograph that matches up, that pairs up with another photograph. So if I were to place my photograph in this instrument side by side riboflavin, let me demonstrate. There's a download of scalar energy from the riboflavin into me and from me into the riboflavin. So there's a sharing of information. I know that sounds profound. I know that sounds quite deep, but this is how a scalar energy force field works. Everything shares information. It's a concatenation of everything in the universe. The universe is quantum entangled.
That is, yeah, it is really fascinating. It's sometimes, like you said, it's hard to kind of wrap your mind around. It's not something, like you said, it's not taught in school. We know it's out there. I'm kind of curious though too. How did you get started in doing all of this and creating this instrument? How did you get into scalar energy and start down that path?
I would suggest to anybody who wants to become a disciple of this new and emerging science, study Nikola Tesla. He's a master. Now, I was fortunate enough to study Tesla and another inventor by the name of Hieronymus, but this inventor Hieronymus, his notes are obscure. You can't gain access to his notes. I have some of his notes. My point is this takes a lot of prayer, it takes a lot of experimentation, and you have to follow just a few scientists, my predecessors, who knew what they were doing. This is not taught at the university level. This is so groundbreaking. This is not taught by any university for that matter. So you have to study Tesla, perhaps Hieronymus, our predecessors. You have to be willing to experiment and devote a great deal of time and energy to this new and emerging science.
Okay. So how does the scalar energy like affect our, how can you affect the our energy state? I mean, I know you showed the photograph, but I know you also have another pretty cool example with the lights to show.
Yes. Okay. Let's say that everything in this world is animated, instructed by light energy. I believe that theory to be correct. So light energy is the guiding impulse. It's the animating force. Now, with that in mind, this instrument working with light can send instructions, including instructions to my mind. Now, we've heard of the term illuminate your mind or enlighten your mind. Well, I don't think the ancients, I don't think philosophers were too far off the mark. If you want to enlighten yourself, you do it with scalar light. Now, maybe they didn't recognize that scalar energy was the fundament that causes our thinking, creativity. That scalar energy is the actual fundament of our 7 chakras, of our meridian system. But if they are alive today and they had our advanced knowledge, they would probably make that conclusion. I do. So what's my point? Brain waves are composed of scalar energy. So if I can animate this light bulb with this scalar energy instrument, that instrument should also animate my brain waves. And it does. Every time I'm under the influence of this instrument, I'm calm. I have a sense of tranquility. So it works. There's something fabulous about this instrument that it works. On top of that, I would say that everybody has 7 chakras. We've heard of those spinning vortices. And I believe those spinning vortices, meridian chakras, call them what you will, are caused by scalar energy. They're composed of scalar energy. And one of the reasons why Newtonian science, Western medicine in particular, does not acknowledge the chakras, because Western medicine has never acknowledged scalar energy. Once we do, we'll realize that there's instructions in our body. If we have those 7 spinning vortices of scalar energy, those are the instructions. That's the central nervous system for our body. And again, if I can animate our 7 chakras with this type of energy, imagine that type of energy going into our chakras, sending in corrective energy into our chakras, and in turn, we have optimal health. That's the key to my research. That's the key to everything I've ever had envisioned to improve the human condition. If we can work with energy to improve the human condition, including to balance our 7 chakras, then I've accomplished my goal.
Yeah, absolutely. So you have some testimonies and stuff.
Yeah.
Or maybe you can explain in more detail. I know we have a gift we want to give to you that you have for everybody as well.
Yeah, thank you so much. Okay, so testimonies. If you visit our website, we have so many testimonies from people around the world. I'm just going to speak about one particular testimony right now. I'll make this very clear. When we work, once again, with these instruments, we never work with people. We work with a force field on a photograph. This is a photograph of an HIV clinic in Delhi, India. Now, for the sake of this conversation, I've never stepped foot in India, but I can receive photographs from HIV clinics around the world, and in so doing, this HIV clinic has now had incredible results with our work. According to everybody at this clinic, that after they submit their photograph to us, now many of these people are HIV positive, after they submit their photograph to us, nobody is HIV positive. Nobody has a viral load. Now, here's an example. This is a PCR test from one of the participants in this clinic, Om Prakash in Delhi, India. And the negative reading shows no viral load for HIV after being infected for years and having a positive viral load for HIV. This individual testifies they no longer have any symptoms of HIV. They no longer have a viral load. Now, science or some other supporting body has to either prove or disprove my work. I'm the only one in the world with this type of instrument, so my approach is unique. So I welcome the world to take a look at my results and then try to prove or disprove my results. Thus far, nobody's disproven any of my results. No one.
That is awesome. And there's so much you can do with that. I know it's a hard concept to understand. I have put up there though, because it is such a new concept. Like you said, it's not proven, that you wanted people to try it out. So you do have a Scalar Light Healing free 15-day trial. We have a QR code up there for you.
Thank you so much for offering that 15-day healing, Laura. So what is my point? On account of the fact that this is new, groundbreaking, it's never been done before, I want people around the world to sign up for 15 days of free sessions. There's no obligation. We don't ask for a debit card or credit card. Just sign up. You're going to send us your photograph. You can send us your photograph, or you can send us your family's photograph. You can send us many photographs. You can send us photographs of your pets. And then you judge this new science. You judge if you feel this quantum healing. And keep in mind, everything is by way of your photograph. It's non-physical. Don't compare this to Western medicine. It is not. This is a new science. I want you to experience this new technology.
Yeah, and the nice thing about that is it's, you don't have to worry about no side effects, right?
Thank you. That's a great point. So let's expand upon that. On account of the fact that I don't use chemicals, I never touch a person. This is non-physical. Nothing can go wrong. I mean that quite literally. What am I doing? I'm sending information. Keep in mind, my photograph has information. I simply instruct this photograph with this information instrument, intelligence. Frankly, you can't have any type of allergic reaction from intelligence.
Nope, you definitely cannot. I know we have more to share and more testimonies and stuff. We'll go ahead and take a break and take a quick break and get some ads from our sponsors, and then we're going to come back and hear more about how this works, and you can go into even more detail. I know he has some more great examples to show you all. So we'll be right back after these messages.
there, I'm Dawn Livingston, your host on the Transcend and Succeed show. Join me Fridays at 2 p.m. Central for limitless inspiration and ways to help you transcend your limitations. Tune into the Achieve TV network and the Voyage to Vitality channel. Transcend and Succeed show, right here on A360 TV.
And we are back. So, Tom, what do you say to people that think that this could be like voodoo or what you're doing to people, because I know you show how you can put things in the body. Some people might be kind of skeptical or concerned that you're doing something to them rather than helping.
Okay. Let's start off by saying these instruments follow the laws of science. So if these instruments are properly calibrated, then they're going to perform a function. So the laws of science are immutable. So these are scientific instruments that follow the laws of science. So with that in mind, it does work. I follow the laws of science. And then as a question as either morality or a question of accuracy, provided I can work with photographs, this is a photograph of a vitamin, nothing can go wrong. Why? I don't interpret a photograph. If I place this photograph inside the instrument side by side my photograph, the instrument will communicate the two force fields. There's no human input. That's a very good question. I am not the actor. All action takes place at the quantum realm. I do not put my 2 cents into this. So with that in mind, the energy is fundamental. It works according to the laws of science. A photograph does not make a mistake. The instrument, the energy does not make a mistake. So whatever I tell the instrument to assemble, such as a vitamin, it will do so. And on account of the fact that I follow the laws of science, it's a guaranteed process.
Have you found any limitations to doing this, or to whom it can help? Or
let me tell you about my predecessor, Hieronymus. Hieronymus was my predecessor. Galen Hieronymus was working with the Apollo 11 astronauts. He actually had a friendly relationship with NASA, and he secured the photographs of the astronauts during the Apollo 11 mission. And he was treating the astronauts while they were on the moon through their photograph. And he was able to pick up their biorhythms, if you will, on the photograph. Meaning what? Even 250,000 miles away, Galen Hieronymus, my predecessor, was able to pick up some type of energy signal on a photograph of the astronauts of Apollo 11. So apparently a distance of 250,000 miles away does not in any way impinge upon the signal.
Right. And it's fascinating because you say, like your predecessors and stuff. So actually, this has kind of been around for quite some time.
Yes, it has.
But apparently we've never bothered to try and tap into it or follow it.
I don't know why, Laura. This is the future. These are free energy instruments. If we can tap into the energy of the sun and the stars, that's the power plant. What am I getting at? We don't need a power plant. The power plant are the stars. All you have to do is tap into the star energy. That would solve our energy crisis. This is one of the reasons I've devoted my life to this. We are going to be able to power the world with the free energy of the stars.
And I think that would be awesome. I think that more people need to know about that, or know that we have other options. I know a lot of people worry about where we're headed nowadays, but it's just kind of baffling that we've had this all this time, but no one's really, pushed it or gone forward with it till now.
You're right. And this is what Tesla envisioned. If you really study Tesla closely, later in his life, he had a tower in Long Island, New York, called Wardenclyffe. He was able to send free energy without wires. I can send free energy without wires. So this is a miniature Tesla coil and a miniature, if you will, Tesla tower. It's real. Now, I want to make this also clear. I don't need an infrastructure. I don't need satellites. Keep in mind, all I needed to access a person is their photograph. I don't need conduit. I don't need a substation. I don't need satellites. I don't need cell phone towers. So it's free energy with a free infrastructure. You can't beat that.
So like with the HIV, I know you have how how has it been helping? Like it removed the HIV, or he says his tests are now. So how did that come about, or how did you do that?
Yeah. Okay. So keep in mind, when I'm working with this energy, everything I do, I instruct it by way of photographs. I'm going to hold up a photograph of the HIV virus. If I were to take a photograph of the group, and I've done this because they send me group photographs, and I take these two photographs, there's a sharing of information. So I download the molecular intelligence of HIV, human immunodeficiency virus, into the people. And sometimes I treat 400 or 500 people at a time who are HIV positive. By downloading that information, that molecular intelligence into the people, it breaks down, it severs, it brings to a state of chaos the HIV virus. That's how this process works. This is the impulse. The impulse meets the people and brings HIV to a state of chaos. It's as simple as that. You only can do this, though, with a scalar energy instrument. That's the energy you need. Electricity cannot do this. So this scalar energy instrument can download the information of HIV into the people. Once again, there's the blast of light, so to speak. And that's all it takes. So there's no human reasoning. I don't stand in the way. The instrument does the work. It's mistake proof because it's fundamental.
It's fascinating too. So if I was to send you a photo, say I had a photo of a family and maybe one person had one symptom and one person didn't and the other one had that, but you're treating a person with a symptom, does the person without the symptom have to worry about getting what you're transmitting to help the other one?
No, because this instrument is designed to negate the molecular intelligence of a pathogen. It's designed to break down any pathogen. Let me explain. I'm going to hold up to the audience. There are 15 different viruses on that collage. If I were to place my photograph side by side that energy field, those 15 viruses will download into my quantum field. Now, I'm sure I don't have those 15 viruses. Let's say I have one out of the 15. That one virus would be located inside my quantum field and we would negate it. If I don't have that virus, then nothing happens. Okay? So within a span of usually a half an hour, I can take over 400,000 photographs of viruses, bacteria, fungi, download it into somebody's photograph, my photograph, and I can potentially identify 400,000 different species of pathogens. And then whatever number of those pathogens I have, the instrument will bring to state of chaos or negate the molecular bonds of whatever pathogen I have inside me. So the instrument does what I tell it to do. The instrument will look for whatever pathogen a person has in their energy field, not their biological field. And the instrument then will seek out and destroy the molecular intelligence of that virus.
Wow. That is really cool, especially with what we've just gone through lately, with everybody being kind of locked up and the whole COVID deal. And
I'll speak for myself. I live in a rather open state. Let's say that Florida. I live in Florida, and Florida was not very hard on mandates. I never had any symptoms of COVID-19. That's my statement.
Did you, just in case, did you have the virus? Did you run it just in case, or?
All the time, on a daily basis. But I'll speak for myself. I had no symptoms during the pandemic, none.
Wow. So imagine what we can do in the future.
I hope the world would pay attention to that, Laura. If you look at my website, we have thousands of test results. We have thousands of testimonies. All of those testimonies are from people. They've never been influenced by any way. We've never changed those testimonies. Read the testimonies, and I think that tells the story that there's something valid with our works, that what I'm doing does indeed match up. This is the truth.
Yeah. And so mostly you're building your research and everything basically on your feedback, correct? And testimonies from what it's done for people?
Yes. And why do we say feedback so important? Nobody can test this. Nobody has my instrument. in order for somebody to prove or disprove my work, they'd have to have my knowledge or my instrument. Nobody has my knowledge or my instrument. Why? It's simply cutting edge. Now, in the future, if somebody duplicates my instrument and duplicates my results, sure, then we can compare notes. No, and I'm not trying to be elitist about this. I'm simply saying that everybody has an approach. My approach is unique, and nobody has ever been able to duplicate my unique approach.
That's awesome. So how is the best way for everybody to help you, further your research and get this? Because obviously we need this to more people.
I appreciate that. Visit the website first and foremost, and you decide. Read. We have 4,000 testimonies. Read some of the testimonies. Okay, those testimonies again have never been in any way altered on my part. And listen to the people speaking in first person and understand what we've achieved with many people, thousands of people around the world. And then please sign up for the 15-day free sessions. Again, you're going to simply email us your photograph, just a bus shot. You can send in a photograph of family members, even your friends, if you have their permission, and include your pets, your dog, your cat. And then you decide. We'll treat you for 15 days in the quantum field. You decide how you feel. You decide if this is valid.
Yeah. I mean, that you can't beat. Like I said, even if you don't understand it, you don't always have to understand things, I don't think, in order for them to work. If they work and you don't have the side effects, it's not, you're not paying for drugs. It can save you from doctor's visits, just happier, healthier. I mean, to me, that's huge. I love that.
Thank you. That's the way we look at it. We want this to be very simple, very straightforward. We want people to see the merit and realize that there's no negative consequences and that you don't have to do anything. You just email us your photograph. I cannot make it any simpler.
Yeah. I know I emailed you my photograph, and you have been working on it with our family. I was going to say, I have to say, I've noticed the last couple of days, not that I was ever in a bad mood, but the mood just seems to be lighter or better, and I've started to sleeping better. So
good.
So yeah.
Perhaps your chakras have been balanced. That's what.
And I'm always a work in progress. Well, like you said, every day we're hit with things that throw us. We're either hit with things either out there in the world, or we eat things that throw us out of balance. So it's, unless we make certain changes, you kind of always have to kind of correct, what we've done.
Thank you so much. So again, Laura, thank you for this opportunity to present this to your audience. This is new. This is cutting edge technology. In the future, you'll hear about this. There are two energies, and we're not going to rely exclusively on electricity or for that matter, the existing energy grid. There's a better way to produce energy and to distribute energy. Scalar energy is free. The infrastructure is free. Now we just have to understand how to broadcast this energy throughout the world, and we won't have an energy crisis. I'm going to demonstrate something once more to the audience really quickly. This energy is so strong.
Go ahead.
This energy is so strong, it will pass through a wooden board. This is a cutting board. I took this out of my kitchen. If I place that cutting board by the instrument, the energy will still pass through and illuminate a light bulb.
Wow.
So it's going to be a versatile energy. It will travel through the earth if we need to. You don't need telephone wires. That's what I'm trying to make clear. You don't need cell phone towers. This will pass through any object. It will pass through the center of the earth if need be. Nothing can impede its progress.
Yeah, that's truly fascinating. Like you said, you've helped people in India, and you've never been to India. You do it from Florida. So it's truly amazing how far you can reach with that. Where do you see all this going, or where would you like to see all this going in the future?
Keep in mind, if I'm the sole researcher, not by choice now, if I'm the sole researcher, I need a grassroots movement. Now, I don't align myself with big business. So what can I depend upon? You, the listening audience, people. Again, I work alone. That's not my intent, but I work alone because nobody else has taken up this type of research. Nobody else has devoted themselves to this. So hopefully a grassroots movement will continue to grow, and so much can be achieved from a grassroots movement because many times we can avoid the politics and the pitfalls of what I would consider too many constraints. So for the sake of this conversation, this is a grassroots movement. Those of you who are listening, if this resonates with you, if you believe in this, tell your friends. I have to rely upon people. Without the support of the people, this won't happen. This will not be realized. With your support, we will bring free energy to the world.
That is awesome. Do you have any other testimonies, anything else you'd like to share with everybody?
I do. I'll share another testimony, and I hold this up to the camera once again. Here's a testimony from somebody who was, by way of their acknowledgement, infected with the herpes virus for at least 20 years. Now, after I worked with this individual, again, people only submit to me their photograph. After I worked with this individual, they responded and they sent us back-to-back PCR tests. One PCR test was conducted in 2018. It showed that they had no viral load for herpes. They had a follow-up PCR test conducted in March of 2021. After we worked with them, 2 follow-up PCR tests confirmed that they no longer had a viral load for herpes. This individual went on record by saying that they no longer have any symptoms of herpes. So again, I consider this to be the growing body of evidence. This is the best we can do right now because nobody can measure this energy. Nobody can actually even prove that this energy is having its desired effect. We can prove that something is happening with people. The testimonies are telling the stories. The testimonies are the evidence that we have right now. Subjective, but nonetheless very strong.
Yeah, and that brings another question to mind because you said, like I said, a lot of people have these symptoms or these medical issues for years. And normally we always say, you can't undo what you've done for years in a short time. What is the feedback you're getting? I mean, I'm sure it varies as far as when people are seeing results. Does it take a while? Does it a few days? Is it weeks?
Everybody's different, but I would say within a few weeks, for most people, if they had some type of bacterial infection or a viral or fungal infection, they feel better. And then they start to see that as far as their skin, their complexion, or they no longer have the symptoms of that type of microbial infection. Everybody's different, but I would say within a short period of time, most people, say 2 to 3 weeks, that's a short period of time, the healing has begun. And that's music to my ears. That to me says that there is something favorable that's taking place.
And would you recommend it only for people that have some kind of a disease or issue they're trying to fix, or for even your average person that feels like they're perfectly healthy?
The majority of our subscribers just want this as a maintenance program. The majority of our subscribers want to feel well, and they want to have their chakras balanced on a nightly basis. And perhaps that's why you're sleeping soundly, because we have now reprogrammed the mind, the 7 chakras. Many people just consider this a maintenance program. They fit it into their budget.
Yeah. And that's the thing. That's always my thing. I always think people wait until tragedy, strikes, but there's a lot of things we can do to be preventive rather than proactive, or proactive rather than reactive.
Yeah, that's a good point. Consider this. If we can eradicate something such as the Epstein-Barr virus, and I believe we can, people say that after our sessions, they no longer have the Epstein-Barr virus. Epstein-Barr virus is sometimes associated with Hashimoto's disease or syndrome. Sometimes Epstein-Barr virus has been known to cause certain types of cancer, lymphoma. So if we can bring to a state of chaos these microbes, then downstream what's anticipated of potential disease could be avoided.
Wow. Yeah. And if that helps with, I'm not sure how all that works. I'm not familiar with all of them, but if that's something that causes cancer and we can eradicate that, then that would mean no radiation and other nasty chemicals. Because as you said, this is a non-chemical
Yes. Yes. So anytime I look at disease, whether it's mental disease, psychological disease, physical disease, I think it's all really boils down to information. If we had the proper, perfect information, there would be no disease. This is the step of bringing the world perfect information. Scalar energy is information. It's intelligence. It's the intelligence of the stars. And if we can have that download of energy, then we can improve health. And eventually, if we had perfect scalar energy, we would have perfect health. Imagine that.
That would be something to see. I would love to see that happen as well too.
It's coming.
So.
That day is coming. Once we understand how this energy works, if I can achieve this as one researcher, imagine what 10,000, 20,000 researchers can accomplish.
Absolutely. Definitely. So I guess then, unless you have do you have anything else you'd like to share with people? We've got some time.
Okay. Let me make this clear. Other examples that I've seen in nature of scalar energy, and this might seem as a stretch. Anytime I see a lightning bolt, I see a lot of thunderstorms, a lot of lightning strikes here in Florida. Many times when I have lightning around my laboratory, a lightning storm, this instrument comes alive and it starts to broadcast miniature lightning bolts, just a quarter inch or an inch high. What's my point? Lightning is a scalar energy phenomenon, and this instrument will start to experience lightning and actually give off small miniature lightning bolts during an electrical storm. An electrical storm really is a scalar energy storm. So my instrument is communicating with the clouds. My instrument is absorbing the energy of the lightning strikes and is emitting its own miniature lightning.
Wow.
So this instrument is functioning, it's organic, it's alive. Energy, this scalar energy is consciousness. It picks up the atmospheric conditions. This instrument will communicate with a lightning strike autonomously, without my aid, without my intervention. So the energy is very much aware of its surroundings. It's a pulsating energy. It's alive. It's a divine energy of consciousness.
That is incredible. And because it's inside a building, it's not like you set it outside to do all that. It's actually sheltered inside a building too.
That's correct. So what I've observed during certain phenomenon, especially during lightning storms, this instrument starts to communicate with the lightning in the atmosphere. When that first took place and I saw these miniature lightning bolts coming from my instrument, I was thunderstruck. I guess the pun's intended. But now I understand. This instrument communicates with the universe. It also communicates with the clouds that are producing that or are harboring that type of scalar energy.
So in a way, it's kind of harnessing that energy, or
That's correct. It's communicating. I believe that scalar energy is the cause of weather phenomenon. And I believe anytime you see a lightning bolt, it always initiates a scalar energy. Some people can be struck by a lightning bolt and they'll survive. It'll just pass through their body. Well, that happens because the lightning is still a scalar energy. It's not degraded into electricity. So others who are struck by lightning, if that lightning is already converted from scalar into electricity, you'll be killed instantaneously. Now, why is it that some people can be struck by lightning and they survive? Others are struck by lightning and they're almost incinerated on the spot. What are the two natures of lightning? Well, it's the two natures of energy. Scalar energy is harmless. You could be struck by a scalar energy lightning bolt and it actually could help you. Or if you're struck by electricity in the form of a lightning bolt, you die. So that proves my case that scalar energy is benign, it's helpful in its form, whereas electricity can kill you. And I can prove that by lightning strikes.
Wow. It's funny you mentioned lightning strikes. My sister's neighbor's house just got hit last night in Colorado with a lightning strike, except for it set the house on fire because it hit the wires in the wall and scared the snot out of my nephew because it sounded like an explosion next to him. And next thing they knew, the house was on fire.
Oh my goodness.
So it was quite the booming strike. It set off everybody's alarm systems in their houses, everything. Of course, if you're in one of those areas like she is, all the houses are built the standard 10 feet apart, so they're a little close. But
Wow.
yeah, it was funny that you mentioned the lightning strike because it is powerful, and most of us would fear lightning, because of afraid of what it can do or the destruction that it can cause. But like you said, in the scalar light, that's all good. That's not bad.
Thank you so much. That's it gives you pause because you have to use energy responsibly. And what do I like about scalar energy? It's not electricity. I
Right.
don't feel comfortable. If this is an electrical instrument, I would have hung it up a long time ago. I would have said, forget it. I'm not going down that road, because there's too much that can go wrong with electricity. Perfect
Right.
energy has a perfect result. Scalar energy is not electricity.
Well, that is awesome. And I really appreciate you coming on and sharing that with everybody. So again, guys, like I said, even if you don't understand what we're trying to talk about and get the point across, there's the QR code right there on the bottom for Tom's Scalar Light Healing. It's a free 15-day trial. It doesn't cost you anything. You don't need the instrument in your home. Like you said, simply send them a photo. Right?
That's it. Could not be any simple. It's just so simple. It's fundamental. When you work with energy, you go straight to the cause. You go straight to the issue. Okay? Anything else that's not energy, light, it's complicated. Energy, light, it's easy. It's fundamental. Anytime you're working with a fundament of nature, everything is simple. It's straightforward. It's easy because you can achieve what you want directly. It's a straightforward approach. It's instantaneous. When I work with scalar energy, it's an instantaneous action, and you don't have to depend upon people. No hard feelings here, but people make mistakes. Light never makes a mistake.
That's that is a good point, because we all are human. We all do make mistakes, but that's something that doesn't. That's nice.
Laura,
Well, that is awesome.
Thank you for
Thank
seeing
you.
the big picture.
Absolutely. Like I said, I'm always open to more things that are holistic or natural, because I know there's a lot of things out there. I know our bodies have its own innate ability to heal ourselves. Sometimes it might just need that extra help from nature, but I know there's more to life than doctor visits and drugs. Not that they don't have their place for some. I'd love to see us be able to get away from that.
We will. In your lifetime, you'll see this take off pretty soon. The wheels are spinning. People see the merit of scalar energy. This is a new science that's not going away. Thank you.
And I look forward to seeing where it's going. So, well, thank you everybody again for joining us. It's Laura Cross with Mindful Mondays. And remember to always be mindful and try out that 15-day free trial. Like I said, it doesn't hurt. Not going to hurt you. It doesn't cost you nothing. Might as well try it and see what you can do. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next week.